The story begins on an alien planet where the alien leader holds a council meeting to announce that a major threat has been apprehended, a rogue scientist named Dr. Jumba Jukiba. Originally assigned to safely study biological threats, Jumba defied orders and created one, a powerful, indestructible, and highly intelligent experiment known as 626. Although 626 didn't ask to be created, the alien leader is hesitant to judge him prematurely and instead asks the creature to show whether he possesses any goodness. However, 626's behavior terrifies the council, and the alien leader decides to take action. She orders the destruction of Jumba's lab and rules that 626 will be exiled. But before this can happen, 626 escapes, hijacks the fastest spaceship available, and flees the planet. The alien forces pursue him, but stop once he crash lands on Earth. Dr. Jumba pleads with the alien leader to let him go after 626, arguing that since he created the experiment, he's the best one to capture it, if she restores his lab. Though the alien leader considers vaporizing the entire planet to solve the issue quickly, she is stopped by an alien named Pleakley, who is considered the Earth expert. He informs her that Earth is a highly valuable and unique planet, making its destruction a bad idea. With no other option, the alien leader sends Dr. Jumba and Pleakley to Earth with the mission to retrieve 626, warning them not to let any humans see them or she'll be forced to intervene. The scene then shifts to Earth, specifically the Hawaiian island of Kauai, where we meet a young girl named Lilo. She's seen feeding fish in the ocean and releasing chickens from their coop, showing her deep compassion for animals. Realizing she's late for her hula dance class, she rushes off, but is met with hostility from the other girls, who bully her because of her poverty, a reality that deeply hurts her. Meanwhile, her older sister Nani struggles to keep up with multiple jobs while caring for Lilo after the death of their parents. She tries to make it to Lilo's performance, but her car fails to start. At the performance, Lilo is upset that Nani hasn't arrived and, in frustration, retaliates against one of the bullies by pushing her off the stage. Nani shows up, but the show has been over for an hour. They return home, where a furious Lilo locks Nani out of the house. At that moment, a social worker arrives to assess whether Nani is capable of caring for Lilo. Since the front door is locked, Nani sneaks the social worker in through the back, hoping to salvage the situation. Lilo begins to notice that her sister Nani rarely has time for her due to constant work, and their poverty forces them to survive on just one meal a day. Even the tea Nani serves the visiting social worker tastes awful. Not long ago, their parents tragically died in a car accident, and now the social worker is here to determine whether Nani is capable of raising Lilo on her own. Although the social worker can see that Nani is struggling, she sympathizes with her effort and determination. Wanting to help, she decides to give Nani another chance. She mentions that a new director is coming to town next week, and she would love to report that Nani is doing a great job caring for Lilo. However, she gives Nani a clear ultimatum: find a stable job within 3 days that can support both of them, or Lilo will be placed with a foster family, for Nani's own good. As soon as the social worker leaves, Nani angrily chases after Lilo, frustrated by the chaos she caused. She warns Lilo that if they don't pull themselves together, they could be separated. That evening, the sisters make up and begin talking about what happened at Lilo's dance presentation. As they chat, Lilo spots what she thinks is a shooting star and, ignoring Nani's complaints of dizziness, pushes her out of the room so she can make a wish. Lilo wishes for a real friend, someone who won't tease her, someone who won't leave, and a best friend who will always stay by her side. Hearing this, Nani decides that getting Lilo a pet might help her feel less lonely. Unbeknownst to them, the shooting star is actually the crashed spaceship of Experiment 626. After landing on Earth, 626 exits the wreckage and struggles with the tracking collar placed on him by Dr. Jumba and Pleakley. Desperate to remove it, he uses exposed electrical wires to burn it off. Roaming Earth for the first time, 626 spots a wedding party, sees a cake, and helps himself to it, causing a panic among the guests. In the chaos, he is hit by a large tour bus. Meanwhile, Dr. Jumba and Pleakley arrive on Earth and use a disguise device to clone the appearance of humans they touch, allowing them to blend in while searching for 626. They see a news broadcast reporting that an unidentified creature was hit by a bus and is now in the custody of an animal rescue team. 626 regains consciousness in a cage surrounded by dogs. He tries to communicate with them, but gets no response. Determined to escape, he breaks out of the cage and heads outside. Around this time, Lilo visits the Animal Rescue Center in hopes of adopting a pet. She generously offers her candies to the animals in the cages, but the staff declines her gift, warning that candy causes the animals to get diarrhea. Outside, 626, now free again, is spotted by Jumba and Pleakley in disguise, who try to capture him. He escapes back into the building just as Lilo is searching for a dog. Using his intelligence, 626 studies a poster showing how children love pets. Realizing this might be his chance to avoid capture, he disguises himself as a cute, adoptable creature. Lilo, completely enchanted by the strange but adorable animal, decides to adopt him and names him Stich. Nani disapproves of Lilo choosing Stich as a pet, insisting that he's clearly not a dog. However, seeing how happy Stich makes Lilo, she reluctantly agrees and leaves Stich in her care as she rushes off to work. Meanwhile, an FBI agent discovers a crashed spaceship in the nearby woods, and upon investigation, identifies the alien as Stich. Back with Lilo and Stich, the two are having a great time together, playing on the beach and engaging in fun, chaotic adventures. Stich is wild and hard to control, but he defends Lilo from a bully by pushing the girl off her tricycle and taking Lilo for a joyride. During their escapade, Stich spots Jumba and Pleakley, still disguised as humans, trying to capture him, and they secretly place a tracker on Nani's car as the group drives away. Later, Lilo and Stich join Nani at the restaurant where she works. During dinner, Lilo gets inspired by a nearby fire performance and tries to imitate it, accidentally setting the restaurant on fire. As a result, Nani loses her job and returns home deeply discouraged. At home, she gets into a heated argument with Lilo, blaming Stich for all the recent misfortunes and insisting that he must go back to the animal shelter. Stich, continuing his chaotic ways, destroys several things around the house until Lilo tearfully begs him to behave, even for just 1 second. She opens up to Stich, telling him how her sister Nani used to be happy and full of life before their parents died. She gently asks if Stich has a family, and when he replies that he doesn't, Lilo assumes his bad behavior stems from loneliness. Moved by their conversation, she teaches Stich how to dance the hula and is thrilled to finally have someone to share her interests with. She even gives him a kiss on the nose as a sign of affection. The next morning, Nani brings Lilo and Stich to a new restaurant where she hopes to apply for a job, pleading with them to behave. Lilo tries to teach Stich manners, how to be helpful, and how not to break things. But Stich struggles, continuing to sabotage Nani's chances of employment. Eventually, Nani's friend David suggests they all take a break and go surfing. Nani, Lilo, and Stich ride a large wave together, but the disguised Jumba and Pleakley strike again, exploiting Stitch's greatest weakness, his inability to float. During their attack, all three fall into the water, and Stich, unable to swim, clings to Lilo's head. This causes her to be pulled under and nearly drown. David quickly dives in and rescues the unconscious Lilo, and with Nani's help, they manage to revive her. They rush her to the hospital, but Nani is unable to pay the medical bills. The social worker appears and explains that the state can cover the expenses, only if Nani agrees to officially relinquish guardianship of Lilo. The following day, the alien leader, frustrated by Jumba and Pleakley's failure, revokes their agreement and decides to send the galactic military to Earth to capture Stich. This gives Jumba permission to pursue Stich more aggressively, using direct force, which greatly upsets Pleakley. Meanwhile, Nani, after much soul-searching, concludes that maybe Lilo would be better off somewhere she can be properly cared for. With a heavy heart, she prepares to hand her over to the social worker. But when Nani goes to Lilo's room, she finds it empty. Lilo, unwilling to be taken away, has gone into the woods searching for Stich. She finds him back at the animal shelter, locked inside a cage. Stich, overwhelmed with guilt, calls himself bad, and blames himself for tearing Nani and Lilo apart. Lilo reassures Stitch that he's not bad, calling him her family and embracing him warmly. Suddenly, Jumba appears through a portal in an attempt to capture Stitch, but Stitch outsmarts him and escapes. Lilo and Stitch run back to their home, only to find that Nani isn't there. She's in the woods with David, searching for Lilo. Soon, someone knocks on the door, and Stitch, sensing danger, pulls Lilo into hiding. Jumba, now in his true alien form, breaks into the house and discovers their hiding spot. A chaotic scene unfolds as Jumba begins, destroying the house. Lilo, furious after Jumba damages precious photos of her late parents, confronts him. When Jumba tries to hurt her, Stitch steps in to protect her. Jumba then tells Lilo that Stitch only stayed with her for protection, not because he cared. Heartbroken, Lilo believes him. Jumba urges Stitch to surrender if he truly cares about Lilo, and Stitch agrees. He follows Jumba through the portal, but just as he leaves, he watches the house collapse on top of Lilo and is helpless to intervene. Inside Jumba's spaceship, the scientist plans to upgrade Stitch into an even more dangerous version, Experiment 627, and remove his ability to feel love, intending to use him as a weapon to defy the alien council. Unbeknownst to Jumba, Lilo has secretly boarded the ship. Back on Earth, Nani and David return to the collapsed house and encounter Pleakley, who reveals himself as an alien. Just then, Cobra Bubbles, an undercover FBI agent disguised as a neighbor, arrives to arrest the alien for questioning. Nani pleads with Cobra to help save her sister, and he agrees. Meanwhile, Lilo accidentally presses buttons on the spaceship, causing it to malfunction and eject Jumba. She manages to free Stitch, but the controls are severely damaged. The ship crash lands in the ocean, trapping Lilo underneath. Despite his inability to swim, Stitch dives into the water and removes the debris pinning Lilo down, allowing her to reach the surface. Lilo, unwilling to leave Stitch behind, dives back in to save him, but he's too heavy. Realizing he won't make it, Stitch lets go of her hand and sinks. Nani and David arrive just in time to pull Lilo from the water. Seeing her sister cry, Nani dives in and retrieves Stitch's lifeless body. They try to revive him, but he doesn't respond. Lilo, sobbing, reminds him that they were supposed to grow up together. At that moment, Stitch suddenly wakes up, and Lilo overjoyedly embraces him. The alien leader arrives with her army to retrieve Stitch as a dangerous experiment. However, after witnessing the love and loyalty the humans have for Stitch, and how they see him as family, she decides to let him stay with Lilo. And that's how the movie ends. Thank you for watching. If you love animated movies, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more.